All right, guys, 1 minute. Welcome to the regularly scheduled Rochester Downtown Development Authority meeting for Wednesday, November 10th, 2021. Madam Director, the roll, please.
Ben Giovanelli.
Here.
Mayor Bixon.
Here.
Bob Bloomingdale. Tanya Karsten. Eric Diana.
Here.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Here.
Paul Haig.
Here.
Chris Johnson. Roger Knapp. Tony LaPuma. Marilyn Trent.
Here.
Ann Peterson. Don Sinkowitz.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We do.
Excellent. Michelle, move forward. Well, thank you, everybody, for your service this evening. We appreciate it. First on the agenda would be the approval of the meeting minutes from September 15th, 2021, since we skipped October. Is there any questions with respect to the minutes or a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by the mayor. Is there support to approve the minutes?
Second.
Support by Diana. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Liaison report, City Council. Ms. Peterson is not here. Mr. Mayor, would you care to freestyle for us?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I might even have the agenda right here. We talked about, well, we had, the election results came in, and Doug Gould is going to be a new city council person, and the other incumbents won. We talked about what else did we talk about, Nick? Oh, we talked about the parking committee.
Yep.
And we had a couple recommendations for how much you pay to go from $1 to $1.25, get new meters, and to leave the elevator lot free. So those were recommended to the PAC. Some people wanted some more information, so we did not vote on those. We had evaluations of the treasurer and the city manager. Those went well. And we got an update on some of the work that was being done around town. The street repairs, Mahaffey, Wilcox, and Oak are almost done and look pretty good. And I think that was about it.
All right, fantastic. Any questions for the mayor? Congratulations on your reelection.
Thank you.
Longest serving public servant, right?
Except for Christy.
Christy.
She's been here longer.
Yeah, we just, right? Right? That's hilarious.
When my first time when I got on city council in November, I went to the DDA Christmas party, and Christy Tavaro was there working. So
Let's see.
she's outlived us all.
That's great.
Here's hope. Keep going, yes.
Funny. It's been here forever. We're glad to have both you guys for sure. Chamber of Commerce, Marilyn Trent.
Yes, I don't think, oh, here it is. Moved. Okay. So the parade is back, the 70th annual Christmas parade. We will be walking down that street for the 70th time. Not me for the 70th time, but people that were in the parade. Well, parade age, the age of the parade. So that is December 5th, I think. Just looking on my calendar because they didn't send it to me. I think they think I know. I mean, I've been a little busy. They know I know, but let's see. I'm not getting to the date, but I believe it is the 5th, which is, that's a Sunday. We also have the Grand Marshal Party is coming back at the Great Oaks Country Club. It will be from 6 to 9. I can announce that our Grand Marshal is Mr. and Mrs. Bill Byers.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. And the Parade of Programs fundraising campaign is going well. The goal is $40,000, and anyone can help if they like. I'm sure you can reach out to the chamber. Maggie Bobbitz will certainly steer you and help you give money. And the fundraiser, they also have a fundraiser as a competition between PCN groups, ambassadors, community members, and everyone to be the highest fundraising group to win the ultimate parade experience. The highest fundraising group will earn a ride on the float in this year's parade. We have contacted Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus. They will be here as well. They are healthy and even as they age, healthy and well. We also celebrated a ribbon cutting at Keller Williams. They have moved to the heart of downtown Rochester, and we welcome them. And there were a lot of people there in the old Chemical Bank. And that's it.
Fantastic.
I just have one more thing from the city council, just on the PAC committee, the parking committee. We're going to have, and Nick, we're going to talk about parking in lieu. And that whole situation might either go away or be greatly reduced, which should help the downtown. That's key to the DDA for some businesses that are looking at it, so.
For sure. It's been
talk
a
about
tough
it.
one for a long time to try and get resolved, so that'll be great to get that one behind us. But with that, Marilyn, thank you for that report. We appreciate it.
You're
Fun
welcome.
times. I'm just glad to have Christmas back. You can't take Santa Claus away, so.
We're glad to be in downtown Rochester with the rest of the fun Christmas town events, and Christy takes care of that. We just take care of the parade
Right.
and cheer her on.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Historical Commission, Mr. Don Sinkowitz.
Yes, the Founder's Day event, that'll be held on March 20th from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Calf Barn at the Rochester Hills Museum. They'll have a speaker there, Ken Sharam, along with musicians, dance troupe, and refreshments. So that'll be going on. Next week, I have the historical meeting is on Thursday of next week, along with the Heritage Festival meeting. I'll have that in the afternoon, and then the Historical Commission meeting in the evening. So we're looking at, from the heritage standpoint of the Memorial Day weekend, and the people that I've contacted, some like the idea of having it on the Memorial Day weekend, some of them not so much. I contacted the Grangers, the old baseball team. They try to not to schedule things on Memorial Day weekend, like they like to leave that open for the team. So we're going to run into some of that, but hopefully at the end of next week we'll be able to confirm which is the day for the Heritage Festival.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yet another staple of Rochester to come back from COVID recess. I can't wait for that either. So thank you for that report. Principal Shopping District, Mr. Paul Haig.
Boy, I would tell you, they're very, very busy. We'll start up with the Festival of Trees next November 19th, next Friday night. And how many trees do we have?
We have 42 trees this year.
It's insane.
2 trees.
Everybody wants to give us big trees, doesn't want to give us little things anymore. I could use some wreaths if anybody cares.
Wreaths, so we have jewelry and all sorts of good things. So anyway, that's going to be a great event. And then January 14th and 15th is Small Business Saturday, right?
No, November. It's
What
the
did I do wrong?
26th is Plaid Friday and 27th is Small Business Saturday.
Oh, 26th, 27th, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're on Snow Glow.
Okay. And then the Snow Glow, is January 14th. So then we have a goals and objective meeting for PSD, and right now it's January 11th.
It is, yep, they're backing it up to their January meeting, which is January 11th.
Then we have the cookie station. We have the cookie event, and that's December 4th from 10 to 3. Would you go ahead and give them some information on that?
Sure, so the Downtown Cookie Stroll, this is a fundraising event. It's actually done through Love Local, so it's actually PSD's managing it, but it's actually DDA that's going to benefit from it. So the Cookie Stroll, the idea was that people will buy a cookie tin. It was $30, and then they'll come down and pick up their cookie tin on December 1st or 2nd, and then they go around to 12 cookie stations that will have cookies that have been baked by our local downtown restaurants and bakeries, and they're more robust, really serious cookies. So we were going to do an online pre-sale for the tins. We're only selling 100 because our first year we didn't want to get too crazy because the tins aren't exactly inexpensive. So we were selling the tins at $30, and we put them online. We did our first timed merch drop on our website, and we sold out in 8 minutes. So the DDA just made $1,500, congratulations, of the cookie stroll. To be a cookie station, they're just paying for the cost of cookies, so there's no other money in or out. So it's really a nice kind of down and dirty promotion for us. And I think it's going to be fun. It also happens to fall on National Cookie Day, which is December 4th, and it's also the Saturday of Kringle Market. So it's going to be a crazy day downtown. So,
Will be. You know, I forgot to mention that the Festival of Trees, the trees can be bid on online.
yes, so for the cocktail preview, last year we added the online bidding element because of COVID and all of that, and some people weren't comfortable coming in person. So on Friday night, that's still for the cocktail preview, so that's anyone who's purchased a ticket for that will be able to bid on anything that they like, but it's all going to be paperless. So everything, when you come in, you can scan, it'll get you right into the queue. Anything that is bid on Friday night, as usual, then will be sold to that person as a benefit of coming to cocktail preview. After that, Saturday, Sunday, it is open to the public, and people don't even have to come to the festival, as Paul was suggesting. They can bid from home. So we'll have all the links up on all of our social channels and on the website for the whole weekend. But we're hoping a lot of people come to a cocktail and sell. We still have tickets available for that, but the festival is open to the public on Saturday and Sunday, and Santa will be there Saturday and Sunday doing photos with the kids from 12 to 5.
All right, we also have our town gift certificates coming again. Chief Financial and Consumer Power, and maybe some other people will be donating, depending on what goes on tonight. And so that'll be to be determined, and do we have a date for that, or announce that, or not?
We'll get there a little bit. It has to be the week of November 29th, but I can put more on that when we get to that agenda item.
All right, then you got November 22nd, which is Lanyap, okay? And that's basically the lights and everything else, and that starts at 7, I believe?
So on Lanyap, depending on how many songs Santa decides to sing, it's 7-ish. But we have the mayor, Dave Llewellyn, and then whoever the window decorating contest winner is will be on stage to help flip the switch. And we'll also have the Meadowbrook Carolers.
And that starts on Monday, the window decorating contest, okay? We also have Caroling in the City on December 12th. Can you give us details on that?
Sure. So caroling in the city, that's one of the few holiday events we weren't able to execute last year. So it's back this year. We'll be closing down Main Street on the 12th from 5 to 8, bringing in the 18-foot Christmas tree. We have coming back the Guardians of Harmony, the St. Irenaeus Children's Choir. We're adding the Greater Oakland Choir this year, which we're pretty excited about that. It's younger kids singing, and then all the way up through high school age. And an idea from our police chief that we're going to be instituting this year is we have to close Main Street at 2nd, just because we have to use 2nd Street as a detour. But it kind of orphans that side of the street down there, that end of Main Street. And in Main Street, as you've noticed, when you close it, it's super big. It's a lot of space to fill. So Chief Schuttenhelm suggested that maybe we do a car decorating contest, asking people to trick out their rides and all kinds of Christmas gear, and then we'll park them along Main Street, and then the patrons can go along and vote, and we'll probably do something with QR codes, something like that. We're still working that out. It'll be free to participate, but we thought that might be something really interesting and fun to do. So thanks to Chief Steve for coming up with that idea for us. Of course, that means he has to help us coordinate it, so there's
Be
that.
careful what you ask for.
That's exactly right.
And then, I don't know if I mentioned, the Chris Kringle Market, that's Friday, December 3rd, and Saturday, December 4th. Friday, it's 4 to 10, and Saturday, it's 12 to 10. Did I miss anything?
Neighborhood Light Fight.
Oh, yes. I remember
So we have 3 teams we're fielding this year. We have Alice in Winterland, Holly Jolly Helen, and Lights on Ludlow. Our defending champions are back, and they are coming to play, my friends, 34 houses. And they've purchased 400 luminaries that will be lining Ludlow from University to the park. They're very serious about this.
BTE has stepped up their
Yeah,
power.
Yes, exactly. But we have 57 houses this year total participating in the Light Fight, and it's sponsored by T-Mobile.
I would say, welcome back to the holiday season. Rochester's full. And is there anything else at all?
No, I've got a couple things I'll mention in my report, just to break it up a little
It's going to
bit.
be a very busy season.
We've got a lot going on.
That time of the year for us, so this is
Tis the
good.
season.
So I'm just very happy to be even having these discussions right now. Just, it's overwhelmed with, it's just fantastic. All right, so that's PSD. Mr. Hague, thank you. Any questions for any of the liaisons? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Update on the downtown construction project. Mr. Deputy City Manager.
Absolutely. So I got some notes here because we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So we'll start with some of the renovations that are going on downtown and new occupants. So if you notice scaffolding that's up on the building at the Sports Memorabilia building. So you put a temporary platform, work with MDOT so we can get the people around that. They're redoing that whole facade. Not the greatest timing, but they're going to be done with the facade 2 days before Lanyap. Probably won't get lights on the building because they can't set the stone and stuff yet, but you went through the planning commission, you wanted to get it done, so we can get it done. So that's going on right now. Sports Memorabilia, Steve, the owner, moved into the old Friendship Factory building here temporarily at the library and hasn't missed a beat, so he's in there temporarily. Above Lytle's is a private club. It's an office group of folks that you buy into their office condo in a sense, and then you can go play simulated golf and things like people do in office buildings after hours. It's rather interesting. They took a lot of space above Lytle's. And it'll be interesting, so.
They used to call those blind pigs.
Exactly, so.
You call those frat houses.
That too, so it could be a combination of all those. The mayor,
Gets raided a lot.
yeah, the mayor mentioned Keller Williams is opening at the Chemical Bank, or Maryland did. St. 1881, which is the old church on Walnut, they're working busy on the inside, so probably spring. That's a major renovation. When you see the inside, it's way nicer than the brunch house. The brunch house is pretty cool. So they're working on that. Dakatala is getting ready to get inspections now on the 26 apartments, 13 on the upper floor, 13 below. And they're really nice, and they're gonna be semi-affordable, and he's pretty excited about that. So we're gonna see for leasing signs going up, yeah. You're gonna, see leasing signs going up, yeah, semi is right, so. Ferndale and Glendale, the condos, they're putting the basements in the first 4 units. Mr. Pampalona is their realtor, and it's going really well, so they just might keep rolling and getting all 10 done as they're going. So you see the dirt piles there working on that. Behind Sargent Appliance, we took down, there's Roger.
Hey, Roger.
Mr. Knapp, welcome.
You can hop in next to Paul. Yeah.
Everybody on TV, that's Roger Knapp.
No, it's the Roger.
The Roger.
The
Knapp.
Roger.
That he's here. Glad you're back.
Shut the-
Yeah, so behind Sargent Appliance, we did some, as part of the sidewalk replacement program, we had some really bad situations there, dangerous trees, the bricks lifting, a bunch of trees that were not good, so we really got rid of all the sidewalks, put new sidewalks in, widened the landscape areas, and Chief Cieslik got me in touch with a guy named Vince at Exterior Concepts, I believe. He did all the landscaping at Heroes Point. If you want to see the top drawer landscape job, that's Vince.
Some good stuff.
So Vince has a nursery, and he had a big job fall through, I think. So I went over to his nursery, and we looked at all the trees that he had left. And this is like 3-inch trees, 5-inch trees, not these little dinky weenie trees. So the tree fund, our goal is to spend the money from the tree fund. We have an excess of money in the tree fund. So we were able to plant 3, these brand-new species called Armstrong Golds in the back of Sargent, and they're already 20 feet tall when he planted them. Have those done. We put, it's called Lollipop Crabapple at the corner where Firestone. There's a little bump out on the Firestone lot. Corey, who owns the Firestone business, has now taken over the CrossFit across the driveway. So he's got both sides, both buildings now. And he's doing some repair on one inside, and that's still Ken Kanye's building. So no more conflicts with parking there. It's all him. Love the CrossFit people. I think they went down and merged with CrossFit Maven down on South Street. But, they had the garage doors open there on Main Street all the time doing stuff. So it'll be much quieter there. So we helped put another tree there. In the parking lot off of Second in the alley, the East Alley, there was a tree that was dead there for years. Took that down, put in another of these lollipop crab apples there. So the tree fund is doing its job. Our goal was to plant 50 trees on public property this year. We hit 50. We're doing up at DPWR. We put some in the park. We put them there. Look at and cross by the police station here. Look at on the berm. Those 3 trees. We're talking significant trees. Butterfly garden in the park, etc. So it worked out really well. Jason Dickinson got all the platforms out and stored. Thank George Kruk. He's letting us store them on his property this year, which is technically in Rochester Hills under the bridge, so you really can't see them much. So Jason got all those. I'm working with two potential clients, one for Lou the Shoe space on University. And we had a turn up the politeness meeting with the owner of that building and said, you're getting new tenants. It's time to take down your crappy awnings and power wash your building, and he has. So we're looking at some tenants there. And then Huntington Learning Center, which is on the East Alley, they're still upstairs, but there was tutus and tendras, is that right?
Tendus, close, so close, dude.
They're on the first floor, and they left, and Holly Hung, who owns the building, we're working with her. She might come to the planning commission to do a pay in lieu of a couple spaces, or she can put a little coffee shop in there. And then DBA, down on Main Street, as you approach Second Street, they are down, they downsized, but there's a big building there, so they're working with, this is something new, athletes and people come in off of plane trips, vacations. A lot of athletes come in to get these vitamin drips to get hydrated again. There's a guy that's literally, he does it mobile. He'll come to your house and do the vitamin drip, but he needed a space for his license. So he's moving to one space there, and then they're working with a little coffee shop. If you, Roger, you probably remember this. Inside, there was a restaurant. Was that yours? Inside the old, Jimmy?
It was Jimmy Schmidt.
Jimmy Schmidt, you're right. It was Jimmy Schmidt's restaurant, sorry. So inside there, there's still remnants of that bar and restaurant, so they're gonna have a coffee shop going there, and it's a good use with them. So they downsized and they were able to backfill those spaces, which was great. We paved Second Street, with a lot of the county's money, and some of the DDA's money. Thank you we finished it. So now we're, Letica, from Main Street all the way up the hill is all got a fresh coat of, pavement on there. So that worked out well. And obviously the mural, you were at the mural dedication, and we got the new mural, which was a partnership between the DIA, DDA, the city, and Paint Creek Center for the Arts. It's getting a lot of attention. It's pretty cool. So they were able to do that, and they had a nice ribbon cutting there. So still things rolling, and we'll keep it going. That's it.
Fantastic. Thank you for your update. Any questions? Don, please.
One comment, Nick, the people in the neighborhood on West Third are really pleased with the progress that's made on Wilcox, the repaving, especially on the sidewalk between West Third
Yeah.
and First Street.
Yeah.
That sidewalk, even when on a bright sunny day in the middle of summer, was virtually, you couldn't walk on it because it was at such a steep angle. So they took the trees out and they're flattening the sidewalk out. So a lot of good comments from the neighbors in that area about.
No, I appreciate that, and the mayor alluded to that. We had a quick update from Asil Puccio, with our engineering firm, and yeah, so Oak, all the way from City Hall, all the way through Wilcox, and they're gonna be done. I want $1 because they didn't make it on the 15th, but they're gonna make it by the 30th and probably get the grass down and everything. So, now the sidewalks are compliant. They were not compliant angles and width, so we got all that taken care of. And they're just finishing up putting the cement collars around the catch basins in the next couple of days, then they'll be out of there, so.
Yeah, and I know they work long hours too. They work.
Yeah, they did.
They do.
Into the nighttime.
They do. They work weekends. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they do. I see them. I don't
Around the cemetery, I have a comment. Around the cemetery, they got two great big trees.
Yeah, so my, I'm the, what do you call me? Yeah, whatever.
The Lorax.
Yeah, the Lorax. All right, so we designed, there was one on Mahaffey, by the mayor, actually, one on Mahaffey, big giant Chinese elm, and then those two silver maples. Oh, I'm sorry, one was the silver maple, one was the Scotch pine. So in the engineering drawings, I sit down and go through every single tree on every project before we start. I say save them, unless we can't. So when we get out there, it's a field judgment. And when they had to cut down to get the face of those curbs in, it did too much damage to the root balls, and with a westerly wind, we can't take a chance on those coming down. And actually, the silver maple, Wendell took that down for us. It was rotted solid through it. And the Scotch pine was pretty spindly. So we do attempt to save them all. I talked to Marilyn about one on going up the hill by the admin building, that red maple. They really cut the root ball, but we had them pack clay back into it. We're going to watch it for 2 years and make sure it's stable, but we don't want to lose that tree. So we do everything we can to do it. But yeah, the ones at the cemetery, and we can plant, now there's space now because there's no shade there, so I can plant them on that property line, inside the fence line, trees next year.
Okay,
So we'll replace that, we'll try to get a canopy back there.
okay, great. Thank you. Please.
Nick, I've had quite a few people ask me about Chapman House. Is there an update on that?
Yeah, the update is, I can put this nicely. The owner is very, different, and he is contemplating turning it into just a banquet hall. But he's been contemplating that for 5 years and hasn't been back. So at this point, I've sent him 3 people to buy it. One was gonna buy it as a home and turn it back into one home. And he won't sell it, so. And same Village Shoe Inn, Christy and I have worked with Mr. Thibodeau, Roger, in trying to, work with him, but he's gonna keep that in his family, and he's renovating the inside, and we'll come back to the Plan Commission with some interesting concept. But, yeah, Chapman House, that's hurting us parking-wise, because they used to put 300 people there a night. So, but he hasn't budged yet. He paid his taxes, so that's good.
Yeah.
Nick, is the building on the other side of the chew-in, he owns that too, I believe. Is that for sale?
He does. So nope, so that's not School of Rock. So he decided to keep them both, Roger.
Oh.
So, and then he's gonna redo the whole parking lot. So he's doing the inside now, and then he's gonna resurface the whole parking lot, keep School of Rock there and see what he's gonna end up doing. I would guess it's an incubator. It's gonna be he would love a music venue, some type of music venue there. So we'll see. He's an interesting cat.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Mr. Nick? Okay, I would take a quick break for a second and from the agenda, and I wanted to introduce Roger Knapp, our latest member of the DDA. So thank you for your service yet again to the Downtown Development Authority and back to the city of Rochester. I'd seen from the council minutes that, oh my God, Roger's going to be back. This is great. So, yeah, no, heck no. So it's really great because we're able to have, a diversity of both people that have been here since, because you were a catalyst in even forming the DDA in the first place way back in the day, if memory serves. So it's just great to kind of see it come full circle. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to thank you for, joining us yet again, and looking forward to your service. And for those that don't know who you are, maybe you want to take a second and, I probably have to go in the microphone because we are on TV.
Yeah, just,
so.
there you go.
I don't have anything I want to say.
No. All right.
I just want to blend in.
You want to blend in? Got it. All right. Well, you didn't wear your camo this time.
I'm gonna remember that next time we talk.
All right.
Roger.
This is unusual for, no, I'm just kidding. But no, in all seriousness, well, thank you for coming and joining us, and we're lucky to have you. So with that, we'll get back to our regularly scheduled programming. Tony's not here, so you're going to take the light pole replacement program update. Thank you.
So as we have the last several years, we set aside $250,000 for light pole replacements. As you may recall, with our last cycle, we were able to complete all of the hook and bell light poles downtown, so we are now focused on the acorns. So with the $250,000, we were able to purchase and have money to install 44 light poles this time around. And so those, as soon as they get a crew free, will be able to do that, but all of their crews are currently installing the big bright light show, so there's that. But the areas that will be addressed with this round will be, we're going to finish University. There's one lone pole on West University that didn't get replaced, and then the rest on East University. So we're going to hit those. Then University Drive will be done. Walnut, between 4th and University, the west side of Walnut, when they redid the parking structures, they replaced all of those light poles as a part of that project, but the ones across the street are the old ones. So we're going to finish that off. And then since we're going down that street, we're going to take the balance of the poles and do them on 4th Street from Main until Pine. And do that whole street, especially since that's our main event street downtown, and that's one that people see a lot of, so we're gonna get those taken care of as well. We're still hoping to get all that done before the snow flies, but we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, the poles have arrived, and they are sitting safely at Dan's Excavating headquarters over on 23 Mile.
Got it. So just waiting on crews, which is endemic, and everybody waiting on construction, but these guys are busy putting our lights up. So
Yes,
that
but at
takes
least we
time.
have the poles, so we're a step ahead in that way.
They're not sitting on a boat in the middle of Long.
They came,
Long,
they're
Beach
made
Harbor.
here, so they came from California.
Yep, that's great.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right, thank you for that update. Any questions for Christie with respect to the light replacement? Downtown visiting session presentation, Madam Director.
That's me. All right, so we have to do the weird thing where I hold the microphone, so I just have to move this so I don't trip myself. which might still happen. So as I've been doing, I apologize to Stuart. This is his three-peat. I try to mix it up a little bit each time, so he's interested and has seen something new. So the downtown visioning session, I know that many of you were able to attend, which we certainly appreciate this. For anyone who's not familiar at home, we did this event in September, and the end of September, and we had done one 5 years ago, which people still talk about and said it was really popular. The idea behind the whole of the visioning session was to reach out to the community and say, you know, we think downtown, we think it's pretty good. I think over the last, 40 years, we've been doing a lot of good work as the DDA, but we can always do better. What else would you like to see downtown? What do you think's missing? So we did that 5 years ago, and that's how we started down the path of the year-round farmers market and the town square and the front porch project. Fast forward to COVID for the last 18 months, and unfortunately, the funds that we had set aside for the front porch project and many things had to be set aside because obviously we had COVID concerns to deal with. So before we started to move forward to say, okay, are these still the things we want to save our pennies for? Do we want to go down this road again? We thought it might be a good idea to check back in with the community. A lot of people have changed over the last 18 months from how this has impacted them, and maybe these aren't the things they still want. Maybe there's some new ideas. So we decided to hold a visioning session to get everybody back together. So just have a brief presentation of what we learned. So for who attended, just like the previous visioning session, we really wanted to cast a wide net. We didn't just go for City of Rochester people because that's not our trade area. Our downtown can't survive just on the people that live here. So we cast a wider net, so we got people from Oakland Township, Rochester Hills, downtown employees, business owners, property owners, volunteers, boards and commissions, city council, elected officials, anybody that we could find that has a vested interest in downtown Rochester. And we ended up having over 120 people that joined us that evening. Also, the session was moderated by Ben Muldrow. He is from Arnett Muldrow. You may remember him. He came and did some of the front porch project brainstorming and branding with us. And everything for the visioning session was paid for by a grant through Oakland County, through Main Street, Oakland County. So there wasn't any expense to the DDA on this whole project. So one statistic that we thought was super interesting as we compared statistics from the last visioning session to this one is that 58% of the people who attended had not attended the one in 2017. The reason that we went back and we're tracing this data is because, as you'll see in a minute, a lot of the answers and things and ideas that we heard were similar to 2017. And so I wanted to make sure that we weren't falling into what was the same people. So of course they're going to tell you the same thing. So as we went and compared the attendance list, 58% were not there previously. So I thought that was statistically interesting, and so that's why I wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. So we asked 4 questions of the group. Originally, we had 3. When Ben came into town, he had an idea for a trend he's been seeing in communities, which we'll get to on the second slide in, but he wanted to throw something else in the pot. So we asked 4 questions, and I want to give you some summaries of what we learned. So the first question we asked are, what businesses would you like to see downtown? This was something that Nick and I wanted included because we really feel that while we've maintained a 97% occupancy rate through COVID, which we're super proud of, we still think we're going to see some retirements, some changes. And right now, it's pretty quiet in terms of people calling Nick and I looking for space downtown, but I think that's going to change. So we thought this would be a valuable question to find out what's on people's minds. So if people are looking for X type of business, when we have spaces available, we'll go start prospecting for those. But the answers were quite interesting. The market came up. Talked about the year-round market, talked about a boutique grocery. People would love to see something small, like a Venemiglia's, or a smaller version of a Nino's, or a Westbourne, or something like that. The town square came back, talking a lot about outdoor gathering spaces, talking about a music venue, which was really interesting. The theater came back, which that is not something we heard back in 2017, but something that came through very clearly. People are interested in a movie theater, a live performance theater, or something that could act as a hybrid of both of those. And we know that there are several groups that are working to try and bring that project to fruition a few years ago. They brought it to DDA for some support, and unfortunately they couldn't make a deal with the landlord at the time. So that was interesting. And then live music, something more like a 20 Front Street, or what Nick was alluding to with possibly a reimagining of Village Shoe-In. So these were the top 4 things across all the tables that we heard. So then This was Ben's question. He said, and he noticed that our city is doing an update to our master plan, and he suggested, he wanted to know if there was an art component to it. And we said, no, why would there be? And he said, well, this is a new trend that in addition to doing a master plan for a city, people have art master plans in their downtown, because art is one of those things that people don't necessarily think of or plan for. But maybe if you have this on your mind, then you'll be more prepared. If you do want to have art as a part of your downtown, then you're prepared to go after grants or opportunities as they present themselves. So we put out city maps in front of everyone and asked them to draw on their maps where they would love to see art downtown. And these were the top 4 answers. First one were on the bridges. Not the graffiti we have there now. They'd like to actually see real artwork there. They're great blank canvases. I mean, those are things that we'd have to work with MDOT on, but I think they'd probably be pretty receptive if they're letting me hang banners on them. I can't imagine they wouldn't let us paint them, but we'll see. The gateways to the north, south, east, and west of the cities. Some type of welcoming artwork to let you know that you have arrived in the city of Rochester. We happen to have welcome signs at 3 of those 4 areas already, so it's something interesting to think about. People love the parking decks. Want to do that. I think a lot of people are inspired by the Z deck down in Detroit. There are a lot of big blank walls. That light wall, that is the light wall that we had to put in the east parking platform on the lower level. That's my wall. Nobody sell that to anybody to do anything with. We're going to do something with that eventually. It's a beautiful blank canvas. It's just prime for something there. And then the pocket parks, the Lions Park, Depot Plaza, where we have the big Christmas tree, where we used to do the lighting, and then also the Walnut pocket parks that the GDA built a few years ago at the corner of 4th and Walnut and the corner of University and Walnut. Again, it doesn't always have to be about mural. The DTE wall was an amazing opportunity, but we can do other things that are art-based that don't have to be a big canvas. We can do smaller pieces, sculpture. There's a lot of interesting things that we can do. And we've had a lot of success with pop-up art through Magical Mural Tour and a few other things we've been doing. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. But people got really excited about this question. The actual maps, I have them all. They're great. People had some really interesting ideas. So then we talked about placemaking, as of course we should, because that's what we do, that's our jobs, is placemaking. So we wanted to know if we could do some new interesting projects downtown, where might those projects be? People really want to do some things in the alleys. I think that's because a lot of towns, you see a lot of things done in alleys. A lot of people, again, hearkening down to Detroit, they have a lot of cool alley treatments. Our alleys are more utilitarian, so they don't necessarily lend themselves to some of those types of things, but maybe some, ambient lighting. Maybe it's painted crosswalks. Who knows what it could be? But there are some opportunities there, again, with the pop-up murals. We did a lot of those in the alleys, so there could be some good opportunities there. Here we go again, amphitheater. People want an outdoor venue downtown. They recognize that we have the band shell, but there's something about downtown. They want something there, which then led into conversations about the town square again. Outdoor gathering. People love the added outdoor seating. They love the picnic tables. They love the dining platform that we put out. They want more of that. And we do have a lot of interesting little niches here and there that we might be able to create new, exciting outdoor seating opportunities. And then the Lions Park, even though they didn't call it Lions Park, because even though it has a ginormous sign that says Lions Park, a lot of people don't recognize that. The Rochester Lions Club actually funded that whole park for us. And it's actually fortuitous that about a week after the Lions, after the visioning session, the Lions reached out to us and said, we've been looking at that park. We'd love to invest some more money to do something. I said, well, it's funny you say that, because we just did a visioning session. A lot of people were talking about that property. When it was built 12 years ago, I don't think they really looked at it as an entertainment venue, even though they put a little area for seating and a little stage. They didn't add any electricity. That's the Lions Park. Behind the mills, where the gazebo is, that's the Lions Park. There, I swear there's a ginormous sign. It's huge. So, yes, and we get a lot of people trying to book the gazebo that are doing their receptions downtown but want a wedding venue. So we have that gazebo that we inherited from Dillman and Upton many years ago, but I think there's a lot of opportunity to do something with that as well. But a lot of people pointed to that as a missed opportunity. So we thought that was something interesting. And then last but not least, we asked people for redevelopment ideas for downtown. If you could just strike anything, pretend that it's not there, what would you like to see? Outdoor music venue, year-round farmers market. It's interesting because Nick and I, harkening back to the original question about types of business, we thought we'd hear about more retail things, that we want a toy store, we want a bookstore, we want whatever. Those were really far down on the list. Everybody's really interested in outdoor music and they want boutique grocery. I think it's that people have always felt like Rochester, they want it to be a one-stop shop. Right now, we're the place that you go to have dinner before you go somewhere for entertainment, or the place you stop on your way back to get a drink after you've gone out for your entertainment. We're not the place you come to do your regular grocery shopping. The farmers market is at the height of its popularity now, especially during COVID. We still are maintaining over 1,800 people a Saturday coming to our farmers market. They like the community feel of it. They like to see their friends and neighbors, and they like to be able to get local fresh food. So I think there's a lot of things that we're doing right downtown that we have been able to hit a few of these things, but people are still looking for more. They want us to be that one-stop destination that they can do everything. So it was a really interesting session. I think that we found a lot of information confirming what we thought and maybe some new things too. So in terms of what next, we already presented to both the Planning Commission and the City Council these same findings that you've heard tonight. Now we're hoping the DDA will refer this to the Site Development Committee to start really hashing through and seeing if we can come up with some concepts to then bring to DDA goals and objectives in January, so we can start bringing these things to light and seeing if there's something we may be able to introduce into our short and long-term plans to bring some of these ideas to fruition. So that is the brief summary of what we learned at the visioning session. And I'm happy to answer any questions, and I go sit back down now.
All right, thank you for your presentation, and being there, it was great. The vibe was outstanding. Everybody was really into it, and just wanted to thank, I think pretty much everybody in the room was there or somewhat
close.
tangentially involved in it, so thank you for doing it. But yeah, no, it was great to see the stuff that we had talked about before being still brought up as being desirable, but I didn't really realize about the, near 2/3 of the people that were there this time weren't there last time, so that's good. So it's reaffirming, so that's fantastic. So I guess from next steps,
I have a question.
referring it to, I'm sorry, Marilyn, please, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was
just
just
want to
gonna
make
say,
sure.
it looks like we need to refer this to the
Well,
Site Development
have-
Committee for just sort of discussion, and then we can deal with it at goals and objectives, but please, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
sorry, I
no
wasn't
worries.
sure if you're saying we were done with conversation.
No,
I just have
I
questions.
just
do.
was talking like I always do.
I'm curious. Yeah, great presentation. Really enjoyed it. I was there. It was a good visioning session. Yeah, it was very good. So are you saying you're going to take out of the mothballs the year-round market? Because, I mean, we spent a lot of time on that year-round market idea. I mean, or parts of it.
Well, here's where for anyone who at home who didn't keep score on the year-round market project, essentially, it became very clear to us, as much as we did some great legwork, and I think we had great numbers and things, it was going to take a substantial private sector partnership to make that happen. We tried 2 runs at it with 2 different private partners and just could not get there. So I think, like you said, maybe there's some elements of the year-round market, maybe elements of the fact that we have this community outcry for boutique grocery, that maybe there's something that might be able to happen, that Nick and I can go to some of these small boutique grocers to say, look, our community is looking for this. Maybe that would help, and who knows, as we start moving forward, some other opportunities may present themselves. I don't want to speak for, this board of the Site Development Committee, but I know Town Square and Front Porch, we were this close to getting that off the blocks. It would not surprise me if Site Development maybe goes for the low-hanging fruit first and goes to that, because we were so close.
Right.
But I think there's a lot of other opportunity too. I just thought Site Development, if they're able to maybe kind of hack through this and cull through all of it, because I have a lot deeper dive data that I can provide to them from all the tables. I have all of it, so they can really dig in and see if there's some more little gems that we might be able to find in there. And then in terms like the art master plan, that would be something we'd want to do in partnership with the city. So I feel like this is like a very initial step to something much bigger, and that's why I mentioned short and long-term planning. I think that this isn't just a list of things we're going to get done next year. This is really more of a strategic planning discussion.
Yeah, I think maybe, for my opinion, I'm one. There's a Seasons market in Midtown that was recently built, and I rent from the Green Garage, and they were the ones who created it. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's quite nice, and it's a mini version of a year-round market, and I was going to talk to the builder and designer to see what that was about. You might want to visit it. It's really quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do things very efficiently in Midtown.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But no, it'd be good. I think reimagining the front porch in some way. I mean, things have changed. I think it just would be nice to see a hybrid of some sort of multi-use. Yeah.
Yeah, and if the Lions are serious about possibly doing something, maybe that, if we have funding, that might move that park project a little higher on the list.
I didn't know it didn't have electricity. I always envisioned some kind of, abandoned shell. I mean, it's, the bones are there, the
Yeah,
part.
no,
Yeah.
it's
We'll
funny,
put
I
a
remember.
Tesla wall up.
Yeah, I remember this vividly, because I was literally, I think, like my first day back, they're like, hey, you want to go see the Lions Park? And I'm like, where the heck is the Lions Park? And we went over there and I saw everything. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great for, doing some concerts and this and that. They're like, oh, no, we're not doing amplification. It's all going to be acoustic. I'm like,
Oh.
but at that point, I just got here, so I'm like, okay, that's no problem.
I mean, but it hasn't been utilized. The river, has
it's
not
just-
been
well,
utilized to
that's
put,
just it. The
that-
river, you can't really do acoustic with the river rolling by.
Well, I get it, but I mean, there's other things
Yeah.
there around that people
Yeah.
to enjoy, to big groups down there.
Yeah,
to
and
do
I think when
something
we've
there.
tried to do like some mini markets, some other things over there, it just doesn't have the recognition
No,
for getting people over there. But I think there's an opportunity. There's always
Yeah,
opportunity.
there is always opportunity. It's such a, the river is such a beautiful
100%.
asset to our community.
Yeah, no, agree completely.
Anyway, yeah, that was it.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Just for everybody's, just kind of a walk down memory lane, so I know Roger wasn't here for it, but we had a significant amount of money set aside in fund balance for this front porch project, which we spent all of it last year on COVID relief for parking, mostly for parking, but other things. So we're having to sort of start over again. So the COVID gods took away everything that we had set aside, so we're having to reboot. So I think flipping it to site, and then, you guys coming back with, things for us to think about, and then we can have the discussion at goals and objectives would be fantastic.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
If I might chime in for one second. So Christy and I met with Tony when we were looking at the lights, and I think one thing that will be different this time around is our experience in giving in this community has gone to a different level. Marilyn, you know it, in the pollinators, people step up for things. A simple thing like a swing in the park, I'm standing there working on the butterfly garden with the guys, and somebody's like, well, that swing's really crappy. What? And Dan Morris from Controller Technologies and his wife elbows him and says, write a check and get a new swing. It was like $15,000. Look at Chief C's, like that's over $300,000 of private money that built Heroes Point. We're not afraid to ask. We talked about, if we can get to that next step with the farmer's market, there's so many elements in there, in the front porch project, there's so many elements in there that people would gravitate towards and throw money at. So instead of us waiting 3 years to raise DDA money, let's get at it and find, we can get grants, but it's amazing if you can show a pretty picture of what you're trying to get to. At the Butterfly Garden groundbreaking in the park, I show one lady on my phone the next phase, which was 80 grand for that wall that goes around the lake. She's already got people sending me checks to put into a separate fund to fund that project. So we're not going to be afraid to ask for, the community to get involved financially, which would speed this thing up a little bit, right? Instead of just waiting for us to get our money and then something goes wrong. So we've been talking about that. We're not afraid to ask for that.
That I am completely confident in the people in this room of doing that. So, so we'll flip it to site, and then you guys let us know, and then to the extent that, and we'll just continue the dialogue once we sort of narrow it down to those, 3 or 4 things that you guys think that have legs, and let's see if we can put some funding behind it and do some, creative fundraising, which is always, well-known for, at least in this room, to find money underneath all sorts of rocks and boxes and wherever else. All right, thank you for that, appreciate it. Consumers Energy Downtown Gift Certificate Program, match program.
Yes. So, last year, again, with people's generosity, there were a lot of new people and new businesses that came forward that wanted to support small business, not just locally here in Rochester, but around the state. Consumers Energy was one of those. They created this program called the Our Towns Match Program. So they, unbeknownst to all of us, had been going around behind the scenes and identifying local chambers or DDAs that offered downtown gift cards or gift certificates. And then once they had their list, they then reached out to those organizations, asking them if they were provided with match funds of a certain amount, would they be willing to do a buy 50, get 100 gift certificate match program with Consumers Energy providing the match? Of course, when they called us, I was, yes, I didn't know how much they were giving us, how it was going to work. I'm like, yeah, We will take that money. So we didn't really understand the impact of what was about to happen to us. And when I say us, I mean Jenna, Taylor, and I at our office. So the first time we put it out there, we just had our money from consumers. So they had given us $5,000. So we were able to do 10,000 in certificates. So we put it out there that we were going to do it on this one day and that we, opened the studio at 10 o'clock. We had a line out the door at 9 o'clock in December in the cold. And at the time we had to limit people coming in. People had to mask that whole thing. So we quickly tried to figure out how to make this work. We were sold out of them in about 90 minutes. Okay, that's cool. So we did it once, and they're like, are you doing it again? I'm like, well, not unless some people show up with more funding for us, are we doing this again? So then Chief Financial called and said, if you want it, we would do some matching funds for you. So they came in with 5,000. And then a private citizen who we know well, he owns a business in town, said, you know what, I'd love to give you 5,000 so you can do this again. So we did another round. Okay, cool, great. So then after we did the second round and we're all, catching our breath that we were able to do this, consumers emails and says, hey, do you guys want to do another round? We have more money for you. Sure, that sounds great. Let's do that. So long story short, by the time we were done with this whole dance, we ended up doing about $22,000 in match, so 44 in certificates, but it really also raised awareness of the fact that we even had gift certificates, even though we've had them since 1998. That season, we tracked it from November 15th through December 23rd. We sold over $100,000 in downtown gift certificates, including the match. It was insane. We ran out of everything, but it really, now that we're seeing them come in, because in the middle of all that, we switched the branding on the certificates to the Love Local, so we can see which ones went out that we know were part of the match program. We're seeing them come in constantly, daily from the merchants for redemption. It was a really strong program. So fast forward to this year, because we didn't know if they would do it again this year because it was really COVID driven. So they selected 63 cities or organizations to work with, and Rochester was one of those. They actually are only doing 4 in Oakland County, us, Clawson, Royal Oak, and Lake Orion. And they're offering us they're offering us 10,000 this year. So great, love it. So, and they want us to run the program the week of November 29th. So I reached out to our friend Tom DeLuzin, who also serves on our business development committee, to see if they would be interested in doing matching funds with us again. And he said they're going to shift some things around and get us another 5,000. So now we have 15,000 in match. That means we can sell 30 in certificates. So in the midst of all of this, we heard from Main Oakland County that we are going to be reimbursed for all of our restaurant promotions that we did during COVID. Fall, Foodie February, those types of things, and the Drink Local programs. So we have $8,400 coming back into the Love Local Fund that was spent in support of specifically the restaurants, but it benefited all of downtown. And so the question that I wanted to bring forth to DDA tonight is, would you consider reallocating those found funds that are coming back to us from the county that will be in the Love Local Fund to add to the match, that we could do 20,000 in certificate sales to give us 40,000 in match that we could do this year. So that's the history of everything I can possibly think of.
Can we make a motion on that now?
Sure.
Motion to do what Christy just mentioned.
I'll second.
So I guess
A mouthful.
It was. I'm sorry about that.
it's, couldn't have said it better.
No, but I was talking 5,000.
Yeah.
I was asking
so
for-
it's 20 altogether, so it'd be 40 towards the effort. And we're so grateful to have the support from consumers and from, the bank. And so this is just, it's nice, kind of puts a bow on it and still lets, because we're still recovering. I mean, it's not, not quite over yet. So is there any other discussion on the motion? Since it's expenditure of money, I think it's a voice vote, so.
Okay, yep, I can do that. All righty. Ben Giovanelli,
Yes.
Mayor Bixson,
Yes.
Eric Diana,
Yes.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Yes.
Paul Haig,
Yes.
Roger Knapp,
Yes.
Marilyn Trent.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, unanimous. Thank you for that. And, yeah, it's gonna be great. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna go to phase 2 and then with phase 3, right? So we're gonna be, 120 grand in, which is, it's a great problem to have, right?
Yes.
So,
Honestly, people were so generous last year with downtown, I can't even begin to tell you.
Yeah, no, well, we're just blessed with just an abundance of support, and we're very thankful for that.
So what was the date the certificates?
So, we're waiting, so even though this is a public meeting, Consumers is asking us to hang on to really spread any word about it until they officially announce it. Was supposed to be, I believe, by the end of this week.
Okay.
Then it'll be out there. They want everything to roll out the week of November 29th. It was curious to us because last year we saw communities, I think maybe if they were based out of a chamber out of City Hall, didn't have a storefront like we did and didn't have a presence that we've been selling certificates for all these years, they still had certificates for 2 weeks. Like, I barely had them for 2 hours. I don't understand how this is happening. So, we're looking at that week of, the last week of November is when they want to roll the project out, the week of November 29th. Knowing we're probably going to blow through them in one day, if that, we are looking at Thursday, December 2nd as our target date because for the month of December, leading up to holiday, we're staying open late at the studio on Thursdays anyway for people wanting to come in by retail, do whatever. So we're looking at that as the day that we would do it. So to be determined once Consumers officially announces what they're doing, and then we'll get our things into place. We're coming up to what we like to call our holiday Thunderdome season, and that would fall right in that week. Everything's that week.
Is there, I don't think that this would happen, but is there a chance where the consumers might say, we've decided not to do it?
No, I don't think so. They've rolled this out to all 63 communities, so something drastic would have to happen.
Okay, well, the only reason I say that is now, we're not going to be together again until after this would have already happened, so my suggestion might be to, I don't know if it'd be an interceding motion or something to say, to the extent that any one of the other match parties doesn't go, we're still going to be involved. It'll just be a lesser dollar amount, so I don't know. The motion's already been voted on and supported, so it feels like that would have to be either
There could be a secondary motion.
Yeah,
then.
secondary
Yep.
motion, and I can't make motions as the chair, so if you understand what I'm saying, is
Yes.
that if one party doesn't go, we still want to do it, it
It's
just
a
will be less.
contingency plan.
That's exactly
Yep.
right.
I'll make a motion as Ben just stated.
Okay, very good. Motion by
We're
Hank.
efficient here.
I know, right? Support? Anybody?
Second.
Support by Diana. Once again, expenditure of money, so,
Yep, here we go. Ben Giovanelli.
yes.
Mayor Bixson.
Yes.
Eric Diana.
Yes.
Lisa Germani Williams.
Yes.
Paul Haig.
Yes.
Roger Knapp.
Yes.
Marilyn Trent.
Yes.
Motion
Fantastic.
carries. Okay.
Or hopefully we won't need it, but just in case.
Just
It's
in
always good
case.
to have just-in-case motions.
Yeah, they, throughout the state, they're investing $750,000 in this program.
Yeah.
So something really drastic
Yeah,
would
right.
have to happen for consumers to bail
Yeah,
at
no,
this
no, I mean,
point.
like I said, just because we're
Yes.
not going to be together, and I would hate to have to gather everybody up on an emergency basis during the holidays to have a 30-second vote on.
Are we allowed to do paper votes via email or anything?
No, it's
Okay.
all live now until anything changes, but now we're sort of back. It's going to be like this for
I
a
got you.
while, so. And with that, I would actually thought, funny you say that, because I was thinking about goals and objectives. We can do that virtual, since we tend to do that like on the weekend, but we can't do that either. It's a public meeting, so. So with that, next agenda item is to set the date for the 2023 DDA goals and objectives. Do we have a cadence on when council needs
Yes.
stuff from us?
So we are seeing council the third week of March.
Okay.
So we're right on time for when we would normally meet. I looked up the last couple years that we have done our meetings. We actually took the night that would have been the regular DDA meeting. We started that at 6, and then we started goals and objectives at 7. So we tried to keep a light agenda from 6 to 7. And then Chris would bring in food for us. I'm volunteering him for that. He's getting voluntold since he's not here. So then we would start goals and objectives at 7, and usually we ran 7 to 9 or 9:30 with that, if that's of interest. I think that the consensus was it's easier because everybody already has that night set aside for DDA.
Yeah, just have it go do the
So, and then we don't give up a weekend, and then I know for Stuart, he has a million meetings once we get into goals and objectives season, so
So we're talking
Yes.
about January 19th?
we are.
Okay, so January 19th, the idea would be to have our regular DDA meeting from 6 to 7 PM, and then have a light snack and switch gears and do
Yes.
goals and objectives from 7 to 9:30.
Yeah.
Okay, so does anybody have any other
Sounds good.
ideas? Or to just go ahead?
That worked out well last time, I think.
Yeah, I thought it was great, so. Okay, cool. So I don't know if there's any action from other than just direction from the chair, but.
Yep. Nope.
All right, sounds like we have a winner.
Okay.
Regular reports, Executive Director update.
Sorry, doing secretary things. Okay, hang on.
Sorry.
Let's see here. Okay, so let's see if there's anything that we missed. Just a reminder for December, we will be meeting on December 8th. It's still the second Wednesday in December, and then we go back to our third Wednesdays for the rest of the year. Couple just highlights of other things going on, of course, with holiday season. Big Bright install should be complete by the end of the week, and then we'll be punch listing it this weekend, and then they'll be working on it this next week. While we're setting up trees at the festival, the guys will be finishing up everything else and punching everything. Everything has been officially moved over to the studio for the controls and all that good stuff, and everything, as far as we can tell, has been working. Our shipment of replacement lights finally arrived last week. That was exciting. We order our lights in February from overseas, and they usually get here in August. So we finally got them, which is great. But the challenge is now the crews that were scheduled to spool, I don't know if everybody's seen those giant spools of lights, because that's how they put them up, is no longer available. So we had to be a little creative with color choices for some of the buildings for lights that we did have spooled. We certainly have those lights available for replacements, but some people might have some different colors on their buildings this year because we just didn't have those lights spooled. But it's still going to be a nice Friday. It's still all of our colors. You may notice that the DDA is a completely different color than everybody else. That's only because we had ordered a new custom strand color this year, and I was terrified to not put lights on someone else's building and then have those not arrive and they get stuck with orange or something like that. So I left our building blank. So we ended up with the new ones because they actually came in and they were able to spool some. So we have the new color combination of red, green, white. It's super cute. We're very excited about it. So, but you'll see more of that next year. But no, so install is on time. We are in good shape with that. We are not bringing back the phone booth this year. We're going to wait until 22. I just don't have somebody stand out there and sanitize that thing all day long. So we're going to take a pass on the phone booth this year. One of the things that we are bringing back, speaking of Holiday Thunderdome, is last year, Neighborhood House had a very deep and profound need for toys for kids. And so we stepped up last year and did something called Downtown Days of Giving. So we encouraged people to come and bring toys to us, but then also we offered online that if you wanted us to do the shopping for you, we have a donation feature that we could activate on our commerce site for downtownrochestermi.com. So we did that so people could make donations of $50, $100. Some people donated $500, and then I went and shopped for the toys for them. We ended up taking 2 ambulance fulls of toys over to Neighborhood House, which went all into the right hands, and it was fantastic. I talked to them again this year. They would love it if we would do that again. I guess it helped out quite a bit. It's sort of that last round. So also that week of November 29th, we're going to be launching that and hoping that when people are coming down to get their So you'll see that rolling out shortly. We're waiting to, once, it's kind of like a domino. Once consumers gives us the green light, then we're going to start adding this into our calendar of everything else that's going on, but we've been hanging back a little bit on that. The snowman stroll that we talked about back in September. The sand needed for the fiberglass, I think I mentioned the propane factory fire in Texas in the spring. I know more about propane, fiberglass, Christmas lights, shipping, and everything that any human needs to know. So basically, there is not enough sand to make the fiberglass that we need. So Snowman Stroll is getting pushed to 22. We still have one. He's still at our studio. Our other one still had not been cast, so we had to pull the plug on it because they just not here in time for the artists to do anything with them. But come 22, we will have 12 snowmen for the 12 Days of Christmas, designed by local artists, sponsored by local businesses, that will be dotting the landscape of Main Street in downtown Rochester. But we unfortunately had to pull the plug on. We waited to the very last minute to jettison, but they just were not coming. And they're made in Chicago. It's a material shortage. So we didn't need that many. I needed 11 more. But so there's that. So anyway, so that's still coming next year. So there's that. Also, our snow globes, they're made overseas. They're still coming, but they're not coming right now. So we're just kind of, we didn't want to, basically what our suppliers saw is like, I wouldn't stop the process if I were you. I just keep going. And then
Easter snow globes?
Yes, so we're going to have them probably in February, the nice Valentine's Day gift. But what we're hearing, especially from like Festival Trees, we actually have a wholesale account through our nonprofit with one of the largest wholesalers of Christmas stuff, a company called Raz. They are still landing shipments that they can't get. We only have half our stuff, and of course, half of our stuff, none of it matches because the other half's not here. It's fantastic. But what they told us, they asked if we wanted to cancel the rest of our order, and they said, but we don't suggest it because we see these shipping and supply chain issues continuing well into 22. So that's why we're trying not to slow down on anything that's overseas that we need to get here, but anything that, these are our snowmen and our Chicago. So we just kind of push them back into the spring for production. So, yeah, things we never thought we'd have to deal with. But we have so many other things going on for the holidays, I think everybody will think it'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
It'll all be fine.
Fred Toma, it's not gonna be our giant Santa, but Fred
know.
Toma is gonna put a 25-foot tethered Santa on the top of the BP station. He's donating, and he's doing a thing with Toys for Tots. Come in and when you take your picture, give a toy or something. So he's doing that on his own, so.
Yeah, he actually called me to say, would I be okay with a 25-foot snowman on BP? I'm like, dude, have you met me? Of course I'd be okay with that. So he's very excited about it.
As long
It's
as it
pretty
doesn't
cool.
blow out on the street like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
No, this thing's like super heavy duty. Like, it's big.
All right.
Yeah, so I just have, just two more things. Festival trees, tickets are still available for the cocktail. We're at about $250. Alan said we can go up to $350. I also found out he's gonna be out of town, and he told me that I have control of Community House for the whole weekend.
Uh-oh.
He said I can do anything I want. I don't know what that means, but there it is. So, yes. And then, last but not least, Main Street Now Conference. So, Jenna actually approached me last summer and asked if I wanted to submit to do a presentation with her at National. So of course I jumped at the chance, and we came up with the idea. A lot of people, when they look at our things, like, we've never done a presentation about Big Bright Light Show or some of the really big things that we do, because it just doesn't translate to a lot of the smaller and mid-sized towns, even though we are a small town. But regardless, we, as Nick says, we punch above our weight class. But we thought, with all the cool things that we did during COVID that we're still continuing on, like the Foodie February that we took first place in the American Express Shop Small Help Out Challenge, and with Taste of Fall, Drink Local, a lot of these small batch promotions. So we submitted a presentation for that, and it was accepted. So Jenna and I will be teaming up to present at the conference in May of next year in Richmond, Virginia. So we're very excited. And I thought it was great that Jenna took the initiative in wanting to do this.
It's fantastic.
Yes, it's going to be great. We're really excited about it. So more to come on the conference. County always gives us registrations and all kinds of things. Registration won't be until January, so probably in December you might be seeing some things from us about that. But
Stay tuned, news at 11.
correct. And other than that, I'm trying to see, In Town Magazine's hitting homes. It's hitting the post office Friday, so you should see it this weekend. And I think that's all of my update notes from the girls.
Walter is certainly making his.
Walter!
I know, it's,
We had a hat. He doesn't like the hat.
no, it does not like
So
that.
cute.
He's the cutest damn dog I've ever seen in my entire life.
He is. He wouldn't wear the hat.
Yeah,
He was angry about the hat. So,
The only therapy dog that doesn't like wearing a hat. It's hilarious. Good stuff. Thanks a bunch for that. Events and marketing, it feels like we've already sort of been through that. but
God,
did you have anything
yes.
else?
I was gonna say, the only thing I would mention, Chris Kringle Market is sold out.
Okay.
So we don't have any more vendor spaces available for that. And, Snow Glow, I'm sorry. Paul alluded to it. We had gotten word from the county that they aren't going to be able to field Fire and Ice with us this year. So last year, we had pivoted and done what we called our Snow Glow. So we still had the collegiate ice sculptures coming to the competition we moved it to 4th Street. We still had individual ice sculptures in front of the businesses. So Promotions was working on that this last month. So those things are going to come back. Our theme for ice sculptures is going to be Safari. So we'll do that. We're working on fielding the collegiate competition again, which is actually a qualifying event for Frankenmuth, which then goes on to nationals. So we're hoping we can make all of that work. We're going to do some ice photo spots around town as well. We're looking for sponsorships right now that we might be able to pull off the fireworks one night. So we're going to see what we can come up with. But right now, we're just trying to get into Holiday Thunderdome, and then we'll go from there onto what we can do for that. But it would be January 14th and 15th of next year. So, Mr. Haig.
Something was mentioned about a holiday drink festival or drink.
Yes, so in the In-Town magazine, you'll be seeing a drink local promotion. So we did one in the summertime, and it was a QR code to vote. It takes you to a Google form that you can vote for your favorite cocktail. So we did one in the summer. We had, I think, about 9 restaurants participate, and Bologna's one with their limoncello. This year, we decided to do it for holiday because a lot of the restaurants were asking for it. So we have 15 different, either non-alcoholic or regular cocktails from the different businesses, and they really went all out. There's some good ones out there. So everyone will have a QR code at their location that you can try the drink, scan, and then you can vote for your favorites. Vote as often as you like for as many as you like, and it's going to run the whole length of the Big Bright Lights show time.
Fun.
Yes,
The more drinks you have, the more you're hitting that QR code, right?
yes. So.
Fantastic, thank you for that. Financial report is in the packet. If anybody has any questions, we can entertain them now, or feel free to send them to myself or Christie. Biz Dev, we also kind of talked about that as.
We did, as you know, Holiday Expo was not an option for us this year because the hotel was still obligated to their clients that had been displaced in 2020.
Yep.
That they gave them space in 21, so we just couldn't get a date that we could get the whole ballroom. So to be continued.
Okay.
On that one, but BizDev is going to be working next month on their plans so we can bring something for goals and objectives in January.
Got it. And then site development, we'll deal mostly with the results from the presentation. So I think that's it. We're down to miscellaneous. Any words of wisdom from?
Yeah, is it possible to get a list of all those things that you just
Yeah.
talked about?
Yeah, for sure.
For the whole, for the whole holiday, there's so many
Yeah.
things, just like a sequential would be.
Yeah. Yep.
We happen to have a guy that may be up there with a microphone in his hand that could.
I actually would have a suggestion on that list, that we do kind of a calendar list, and that we have it passed out, or we have it available to print off.
Yep, it's in the magazine, which is going out.
Oh, okay.
But I can put together something that's a one sheet for everybody, so
Yeah.
you just have it as a thing.
Right.
Yes, but that's certainly something easily that we could throw together. And then our, other than the snow glow, all of our downtown corner signs are back up, and they now have QR codes on them to send people back to our website to get more information. But I can, Jenna can put together a one sheet for me, and I can send it out to everybody tomorrow.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's no problem. Trust me, we get lost with some of the stuff.
I could actually
There's a
keep up,
lot
right?
going on. There's a lot. We're just not going home much. Yes.
Is that one sheet in the form of calendar?
I don't know about that because there's a lot of things on multiple days, but I'm sure we can come up with something that will make it very clear
Put together a
when
Google
things.
Calendar
like
for you,
that.
Paul. We'll invite you to it.
Yes, we'll see what we can come up with. Yes.
Any other questions or miscellaneous
Just a-
comments?
just a quick,
As you said, the lower the
I
tech,
missed the
better.
Third Street, that was for the light fight.
Oh.
Alice, Ludlow, and
Helen,
Helen.
yes. Yes, Alice in Winterland, Holly Jolly, Helen Avenue, and Lights on Ludlow.
Good stuff.
It's gonna be bright. I'm
Heavy
excited.
Chase is gonna be eating his heart out.
They actually have National Lampoon branded Christmas lights now. They had them at Bronner's.
Dear, there you go.
Very exciting.
Perfect. Okay, I think with that, we are not going to see each other until after the holidays, or it's after Thanksgiving, right?
After Thanksgiving,
So
yep.
everybody have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll try and see you at Lanyap, and onward and upward. Thank you for your service this evening. Meeting is
Thank you.
adjourned.